This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Salam and welcome to the Halftime Show with Omar Adori. I am your host covering everything sport, international, local, from my own home, isolated following COVID-19. It's great to be able to deliver show 199 here for you on Pulse 95 Radio. Coming up on today's show, plenty of stuff to talk about. AJ versus Pulev in the boxing. We've got that today. It's going to be great. I can't wait to watch this fight. Plenty of things said about AJ, but how will he respond to Pulev? And is this his final straw to be able to elevate himself to finally face the giants of the boxing world? So that's coming up. Also, Oliveira versus Ferguson. UFC, plenty of stuff happening with that as well. You know, there's been a lot of talk about Ferguson following the Gaethje fight. We're looking at that today as well. We're also looking at who is the richest footballer in the world. Now, think about that for a second. The richest footballer in the world, and why is he still playing? So we'll be talking about that today on the show. He's played with the likes of Tammy Abraham and Ruben Loftus-Cheek, but he's still playing football despite being in air of 200 billion. Now I'm getting you thinking. So that's upon that. Seeing that we're approaching show 200, I've had plenty of people on the show and I've always put them through the fire round. This is your chance to put me through the fire round on show 200. I'll be leaving the description and the link to the Instagram where I'll be asking you guys to ask me the questions for show 200. All this and more on the only place to be at 3, the Halftime Show on Pulse 95.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Salam and welcome to the Halftime Show with Omar Adori. Thank you very much for tuning in wherever you're tuned in around the world, whether it's 95 FM, pulse95radio.com, our app, Sharjah Broadcasting Authority, or even if you're watching us on YouTube on Pulse 95 Radio. So excited. Episode 199 here, brought to you from my own home in the balcony. And we're bringing you the show today, Saturday, 3 p.m., which is fantastic. Now, first things first, you've seen a lot of people on the show. There's a segment called the Fire Round. And a lot of the times, the people who do listen, the followers, or even those who are listening on Pulse 95 Radio or even Instagram, interacting with me, which is very, very key, by the way. One of the questions I get asked for is, Omar, when are we going to put you through the Fire Round? So on episode 200, which is going to be on Monday, it's going to be your chance to ask me any Fire Round questions. Could be funny, could be serious, could be on health, could be on reset, could be on fitness, could be on the guests themselves who've been in the studio or even been on Zoom with me. So we're going to be doing that on Monday, but I will have the options for you to ask those questions to me until then. So make sure you send those in on my Instagram and Omar Alduri. We'll definitely be answering those on Monday. One of the things, having created this kind of fire round segment for the Halftime Show, has been really nice because the opinions have all been different. Sometimes people like hold their tongue. Sometimes people respond. The first thing comes off their head. And it was nice to see so many different opinions. So putting that in your hands, that will be interesting to be able to see how we get that going and also what kind of questions will come up. So I'm looking forward to that. Plenty to answer. And I'm sure you guys are wondering, what's he doing in his balcony? Currently under the isolation following COVID-19. It's been challenging mentally and physically, but trying to switch up the scenario for you guys today. So that's why I'm here in my balcony talking to you guys on the Halftime Show. Right, okay, coming up next, fighters, fight fans, this is your time to shine. Anthony Joshua versus Pulev, it's on tonight. Now, Anthony Joshua, you can tell he's got a different kind of focus on his mind. We're talking about that next on the only place to be at 3, the Halftime Show on Pulse 95.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Salam and welcome back to the Halftime Show with Omar Alduri. I am your host covering everything sport, international, local. Thank you very much for locking in. And by the way, thank you also for everyone who tuned in on the episode 198, which was my first show live from home under isolation. Of course, it was really, really good. So overwhelmed to get all the messages and all the comments. It was unreal. So thank you very much for that. Right, on today's show, if you missed the first segment, we were talking about the fire round. Now, a lot of people love that segment when I bring on guests and I throw questions could be on anything related to health, fitness, sports, or even reset. Now it's your turn to be able to get me under the fire round questions. You can send me all your questions and options here on my account at Omar Al Duri or even Pulse 95 Radio. Let us know what questions you have for me for episode 200. And that's on Monday. Don't miss it. Right. Okay. Fight fans. Plenty to talk about. Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua has been someone who is built like a gladiator. Someone who we've watched grow a lot. And also, having suffered his loss against Andy Ruiz, you kind of felt he needed that to be able to reset his career, reset his mindset, and reset his physical state. He's added a few coaches to his arsenal, and even now he is coming up against Pulev. When will we see this fight against the heavyweight elite, let's say? So you got your Tyson Furies, your Deontay Wilders, those people who have been at the top of the game for a while. But before he does that, he's got to fight Pulev. And if you're watching the lead up to it, you've seen Pulev look pretty determined. And Anthony Joshua knows he cannot underestimate anyone coming into this fight. It's a lot of things that we ask normally when we watch, some of the most elite. You've seen it with Conor McGregor when he was in the MMA world. He's still obviously in the MMA world, but when he was at his peak, you've seen it with Habib. You've seen it with your Mike Tyson's, your Muhammad Ali's. AJ has a lot of potential and has had for a long time, and he's a big guy. How will we see him coming up against Pulev? He seems very, very focused, very, very in tune. Has COVID-19 and the year of 2020 helped him reset his mind and focus on what matters most, especially with no fans, not having people, distract him from what his goal is? If he ends up this year with a victory, surely 2021 will see him against the best fighters in the world. That's something we all want to see as fans. What do you guys think? Text us on 4215 at Tasalat or slide into my DMs at Omar Al Duri and let me know. Now that's regarding boxing. UFC has been happening as well. A lot of things regarding Tony Ferguson and coming in, to his fight against Oliveira, who's had the most submissions. You can't take him lightly either. And we know that Tony Ferguson had a bit of, let's say, he was a bit unfortunate with the Justin Gaethje fight. Justin Gaethje outclassed him totally, but that wasn't his opponent initially. And this is something that we've kind of seen with, Tony Ferguson. Stylistically, is he the most unique fighter you've ever seen? I've watched the UFC Embedded. I've watched all these different types of, shows leading up to the countdowns. We all love that, especially that I have a little bit more time on my hands these days. I've watched it, and you can tell, yes, there's some of it's played up to the camera, but just in terms of his routine, his mindset, his mentality, stylistically, have we ever seen anyone like him in the world of in the mixed martial arts world, or even in the fighting world? It's something I'm looking forward to. I hope it's going to be a good fight. There's plenty of things on that card as well. You've seen Oliveira, you've seen obviously Ferguson, Moreno. You've got all these fighters who are, even Dos Santos, who's coming in as well. So all these fighters who are going to be on this card, which looks stacked. Who's going to win? Let us know. Stay tuned for more on the only place to be at 3, the Halftime Show on Pulse 95.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Salam and welcome back to the Halftime Show with Omar Duri in my garden. Currently now isolated away from everyone following COVID-19. Teaches you a lot. It teaches you a lot to reflect on yourself and also being in your own presence and in your own mind as well. So thank you for everyone who tuned in. Thank you for everyone who actually commented on the show the other day, which was show 198. We're on show 199 today. So we're trying to make it a good show, change of environment, couple of clouds in the background. Can't say we don't spoil you. Right. Okay. So if I asked you, who is the richest footballer on the planet? Who comes to mind? You'd probably say Cristiano Ronaldo, probably say Lionel Messi, Neymar, Mbappe. Wrong. So the richest footballer on the planet is someone called Fake Bulkaya. Now, if you've never heard the name before, the reason why you've never heard the name before is because he doesn't have to play football, and yet he's still playing football. How is he the richest footballer on the planet? Well, he happens to be heir to 200 billion. So as much as all these players have, he's the person who is under the richest label. Now, he's also the nephew of the Sultan of Brunei. So that's another reason why he's done that. And a lot of people ask the question, why would you play football professionally if you're the richest man on the planet or one of the richest members of the family on the planet? Well, this is when you come to see passion in sport. Why would you do something? I think he said that he doesn't want to be like his brothers, just sitting around not doing anything, which is a lot of respect to him. He was born on May 9th, 1998. He's 22 years old. And he plays for Maritamo, which is a team in the Portuguese league. He's also the captain of the national team, of the Brunei national team. Now, probably none of you have heard of that because Brunei don't normally qualify for major tournaments. However, he's also been part of the same youth teams as Tammy Abraham and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. So that's something that I saw the other day, and I thought, I've got to share this, because most of the time, if I ask the question, who's the richest footballer on the planet? A lot of people will say Messi or Ronaldo. Well, there is someone registered as the richest footballer on the planet, and that happens to be, his name is Faik Bulkaya. And so, see, there's a fact. Sometimes you kind of go through your research. I saw an article the other day, and I thought, I've got to put this on the halftime show. When you have that kind of money, what does it come down to? What motivates you? What is the thing that you find gets you out of bed? And let me ask you this question. If you had that kind of money, what would you do with your life? Would you still be working? Would you be comfortably retired? I mean, even though you haven't really worked, what would you do? What passion would you follow? Would you do any job in the world? I'll give you the option. Any job in the world, what would it be? Text us on 4215, it's a salat or do, or slide into my DMs at Omar Duri and let me know, what would you select as a job if you had that kind of money? Right, coming up next, the final segment, full time on the halftime show. We're talking about how last week went and what's happening this week on the exciting show for 200 episodes. Stay tuned for more on the only place to be at 3, the halftime show on Pulse 95.
This is the halftime show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Salam and welcome back to the halftime show with Omar Duri. Thank you very much for tuning in and being with me today here on the halftime show on Pulse 95 Radio. You're probably watching this on YouTube right now, or listening on 95 FM on the radio, or even pulse95radio.com, the website. So thank you very, very much. I miss my team. I miss the guys, at Pulse 95 Radio. I've had numerous calls. Thank you very much for checking up. Thank you for asking. And yes, we are halfway through the home quarantine, which, man, the first 7 days, it teaches you a lot about yourself. Being in a space where you can't mix with your family, you can't really talk to them. It's been challenging. I'm very, very grateful for everyone who has reached out and who has messaged, and I will be out soon, inshallah. Hopefully, once we're done with the quarantine and then the test comes in and it's negative. God, I'd never be so happy to see a negative test result. That would be good. Right. Last week was a big deal because for me on the halftime show, I've never gone live from home. Thank you to everyone, RR and the team, Vikas and Sama and Yanis and Christina and Karim and Gabby and Mario and everyone who helped me make that happen last week. It meant a lot to me because I really wanted to work. I wanted to be involved. I didn't want to rest too much. Obviously, as you can see, I'm probably not in the best form ever, but I'm working and I'm enjoying it, and I love what I do, and I'm so grateful for everyone who did connect with me, who did watch the show, and who did smash a like as well on that. So thank you again. This week, we've got episode 200. Now, on episode 200, it's a big deal for me because coming into radio, I never knew I was going to be in this for the long run. I never knew I was going to even get past 50 shows, let alone 200. And I've had a lot of help from my co-hosts, co-presenters at Pulse 95, from my family, from my wife, from my friends, from everyone who supports it. And to be honest, if I'm telling you the truth, I kind of punched above my weight in the amazing guests we've had on the show, which has been unreal. So thank you very much, everyone who has come on the halftime show and contributed and added their flavor to the show. It's been great. And here's to the next 200, inshallah. Wow. I'm so happy that, you guys are tuned in here, and I really, really am grateful for everyone who's, left their feedback, their comments. What would you like to see more of? Now, this is coming up to, obviously, 2020 has been interesting for a lot of us. 2021 is around the corner. I can't believe we're only a couple weeks away from a new year. What would you like to see more of? Let me know. Who would you like to see more of? What type of guests would you like to have on the show? And what kind of topics would you like me to cover? Text me on 4215 @salat or slide into my DMs at Omar Duri and let me know. Can't wait to hear from you guys. Episode 200 is coming up this Monday. Make sure you tune in. Block it in your diary. UAE, Sharjah, 3 p.m., 3 to 4. Block it in your diary. Come and share that episode with me. I can't wait to see you guys. I'll be back on Monday, inshallah. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon. Salam.
If you liked this episode of The Halftime Show, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.